Ben DuBose, news editor, AMP Media. I'm here on the International Roofing Expo show floor at the Las Vegas Convention Center with Lisa Sciortino, managing editor of CoatingsPro magazine. I wanted to call you new managing editor, but you've been here 9 months now, right?
I believe so. It's been a whirlwind of a year.
But this is your first real show working on behalf of CoatingsPro, and really two shows, because it's not just IRE, it's also World of Concrete. Both shows are happening simultaneously here in Las Vegas, so it's been a few very busy days here at the Convention Center. And Lisa, I'm just curious your perspective. Before we get into some of the conversations that we've had and the trends we picked up on, what's it been like for you working your first show on behalf of CoatingsPro?
Action-packed is the only way I can describe this. Overwhelming too. Just, you don't realize how many products and manufacturers and contractors are actually out there until you're all assembled in one room. It's been pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and when you're meeting with these people, what are those conversations like?
You know, I've been really trying to focus on the business side of things and what are we going to do as CoatingsPro to help you with your business, which is really the mission of the magazine in a nutshell anyway. But it's just been so interesting to learn about how they operate, what they're looking for, and what they expect out of products and services and equipment. That's been really fascinating.
And this has been a unique week in that both shows, World of Concrete and International Roofing Expo, are happening simultaneously. It's certainly been helpful to us in that it's a two birds, one stone situation,
Sure.
but I think the same applies for a lot of people here as well, because there is some overlap, right? Like at CoatingsPro, we cover concrete, steel, and roof substrates, and while they each have their own intricacies, there is some overlap in the technologies, right? And that's why it's beneficial to have these two events at one time.
It has been. I've met a lot of people whose businesses cross over. That's been fantastic. And as well with the manufacturers, they often, you know, have very different formulations for the different substrates, but they're all under the same roof, so to speak. So
Yeah.
That's been great.
And you can see the CoatingsPro booth behind us. Folks can come by here, pick up free swag, get issues. What do people want to know about when they come to the booth?
You know, the magazine itself. I was, I guess, a little bit surprised that there were people who hadn't heard about it yet, despite the fact that we've been around for 25 years. So it's been really great being able to educate them a little bit about what we do and the stories that we tell and the services that we can offer to them via advertising and getting their stories out about the terrific projects that they've been working on.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to get out face to face. And I should mention we'll have another one of these booths at AMP 2026 this March in Houston. So please come by for that if you're watching and you come to the show. As far as industry trends, things that we picked up on while we're out and about talking to these folks, there's so many potential angles. For me, one thing that stood out, you know, 2026 is the first year in a while that it feels like there's at least some market certainty. I mean, you can go back to the start of this decade with COVID, with the supply chain crisis, with the administration turnover. It's just been one thing after another. And then the last couple of years, there's been more administration turnover and unpredictability. And this is the first year in a while that it feels like there's some certainty, and there's not, at least to start 2026, some major event or some major crisis. And so that makes it makes forecasting a little more predictable. And so I think companies, you know, there's a sense of cautious optimism, it feels like, that the market is rebounding, and because forecasts are more stable, people are more willing to invest, and that should benefit the industry. What have you picked up on just talking to people this week?
It's interesting you said optimism. That's the word that came to mind for me as well. People are excited to be out there doing business and thinking about the prospects of what's coming up in this year. So that's been great to hear people just excited about what they do in their companies and the industry in general.
100%. And I think it applies to roofing substrates, to concrete jobs. The bottom line is when there's more stable forecasts, there's a greater chance of investment. And I think that's cautiously the sense that we're getting this week. Lisa, for anyone watching this that might want to get more involved with the magazine or get in touch with you, how can they do that? You talked about, you know, advertising, case studies, the ways that that we can work hand in hand with companies out in the field. What's the best way for someone that isn't physically in Las Vegas to get involved with the magazine?
Well, you missed a great couple of shows, I will say that, so try to be here next year. But best way to get a hold of us is to email editor@coatingspromag.com, and I respond to those personally, so I will make sure that we get right back to you and see how we can help you.
Good stuff. I'm Ben DuBose, news editor at Media. She is Lisa Sciortino, managing editor of CoatingsPro magazine.